United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Zarzaki, can you please call roll?
Mr. Orman?
Here.
Mrs. Chick?
Here.
Mr. Deputy President? Mr. Kuzna is absent of notice. Mr. Quintal has not yet arrived. Ms. Fonte?
Here.
And Mr. Dreyer is absent of notice.
Thank you. I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll support.
Support by Ms. Chick. Any questions or comments? For the public's information, the correspondence item 7, there's no discussion or deliberation tonight from the Planning Commission. It's simply receiving the ordinance and other things that the Planning Commission wish to have. So, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. We'll go to first call to the public. Anyone wishing to address the Planning Commission may do so now. You have 3 minutes. I'd like you to state your name and address, if you do.
So there's no discussion of marijuana things right now?
No, it's simply correspondence was the receipt of the ordinance and the permit process from the township to the Planning Commission in its final form.
Okay, will there be any point between now and the end of the month as far as questions or anything like that to be answered?
Not at the Planning Commission. Not yet, not that I know of. Correct, Mr. Lippens?
Yeah, well, correct. We don't have a quick Q&A scheduled. The documents that are in the packet note that the township is processing applications and intends to get back with all applicants by the 28th of February. So that is still the intent to communicate with applicants by the 28th. Just as a point of clarification, Chair, if I may,
Yes.
Anyone who did come tonight who wants to provide public comment, you can provide public comment on anything you like, including the marijuana application process. It's just the Planning Commission doesn't respond or take questions during that. But your comments will be made of note and will be a part of the official minutes for Planning Commission if you would like to speak.
That's correct. Thank you, Mr. Lippens. So anyone would like to address the Planning Commission tonight? Seeing none, we'll go to item 6. There's no clarification since there's no comment. Correspondence is simply that. Item A, we all received the informational and background material requested from the planner regarding marijuana zoning and permitting ordinances as adopted, marijuana application materials as approved by the township, marijuana applications, drawing results, and the North Village Committee recommendation, and most recent plan submitted by Livonia Builders. So all those were provided to the Planning Commission and are also in the packet for the public. Anything else, Ms. Bird? No. No, thank you. There's no public hearings tonight. Reports of committees. Board of Trustees report, Ms. Chick.
The board met February 11th. The board authorized the township manager to sign a letter of agreement with Fink and Fink for legal services as detailed in the proposal received by the board dated January 13th, 2020. The board authorized the township manager and the township's legal counsel draft a resolution to be considered on February 25th, 2020 meeting to authorize the publication of the intent to issue general obligation bonds in the amount of $6,240,225 for the construction of an equalization basin at the wastewater treatment plant. And finally, the board authorized, I'm sorry, there's two, that the township manager work with the township attorney to review a current offer from Livonia Builders and bring back to the board recommendations for proceeding. And finally, the board authorized the township manager to communicate with Thomas Duke, the preference of the board to sell 75 Barker with the expectation that an easement will be negotiated with the buyer to provide public parking at the site. That's all.
Thank you. In absence of Mr. Kuzno, he did send that there was no meeting of the ZBA since our last meeting. Anything from staff, Ms. Byrd? Nothing. Thank you. Planning consultant report, Mr. Lippens.
Nothing this evening that's not on the agenda.
Thank you. In the absence of Mr. Iaquinto or his being late, there's no report. Parks and Recreation and Downtown Planning Group report, Ms. Infante.
We'll be meeting next week.
Thank you. So we'll go to item 10A, unfinished business. This is case JPC 190008. Recommend to approve with conditions, or deny the request of Hardscape Solutions, 1031 West North Territorial Road, Ann Arbor, for a conditional use to operate a landscape supply company. Landscaping businesses are permitted as a conditional land use in the AR district per section 36-15716 of the zoning ordinance and are subject to specific requirements. The parcel number is B0219300012 and zoned AR agricultural district. Since this has been to the Planning Commission previously, I think we can go to Mr. Lippens for his memo regarding the conditional use. Mr. Lippens.
Thank you, Chair. If you'll recall, there was kind of one major outstanding issue with this site plan the last time we talked, and that was the site plan had the outdoor storage of materials, and that is not permitted in the AR district. We talked with the applicant. His preference was to table while he thought of a solution for that. This revised plan indicates that those materials will be stored in an existing barn, which is a satisfactory solution for now. Certainly, if you were to expand, we did talk about potentially the opportunity to put up a drive-in structure or something like that that would allow you to conduct business with some expanded storage of materials. But at this time, you decided not to add another structure. So I think that the site plan and the use are consistent with the intent of the landscaping uses in the AR district. We would at this time be recommending approval. There was one minor note in our site plan letter, and that was that the proposed outdoor waste storage dumpster screening is required to have a 4-inch concrete pad. We just want to see that noted on the plan and installed for the waste storage. There were, some other comments that we had made previously about wanting kind of more details on the landscaping species, and there are some of those that have been included, but for the most part, we find that the plan is substantively meeting the requirements of the ordinance. So I think we should move forward. Our recommendation is to move forward, approve the conditional use, and approve the site plan this evening.
So one quick question. You have the condition on the site plan, but not so much on the conditional use. So for my purposes, doing one at a time, will it be with conditions then for the conditional use?
Yeah, so with the conditional use memo, we just place the condition that all required site plan amendments are made. And the only one that we had at the time of writing the letter was the note for the concrete slab.
Which is the site plan.
Which is the site plan. So I think you would probably be sufficient with just a condition on the site plan.
Okay.
We did double check with Marcus, the engineer, to make sure that he still felt that it was not needing a detailed engineering review. You have that letter in your packet. So that, I believe, is the only site plan requirement that hasn't been addressed at this time.
Okay, thank you. So we'll do that on the site plan when I get there. Mr. Rogowski, do you have anything to add? Nothing? I do have a question if you'd like to come up to the podium and turn the microphone on.
Can you hear me?
No,
Now can you hear me?
no, it's just a switch.
Showing that it's lit up.
Okay. My only question simply is that, so you had the existing barn structures on the premises, and you're utilizing that for your storage now since our last meet. Is that correct?
There's two barns on the facilities.
And those were existing.
Those are existing, yes,
Okay.
they are.
Okay. So you made it so that your business can utilize that for storage, and that's currently what you're doing, and that's what you intend to do in the future, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other questions or comments from the commissioners? Okay, seeing none, I make a motion to approve the request of Hardscape Solutions for conditional use to operate the landscape supply company. Supported by Ms. Chick. Any questions, comments on that motion? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Zarzaki?
Mr. Roman,
Yes.
Ms. Chick,
Yes.
Zarzaki, yes. Ms. Fonte,
Yes.
4 approved.
Thank you. So the next item is 10B, which I'll read it. Mr. Lippin's already made his comments, but it's case JPC 190008. Recommend to approve with conditions, or deny the request of Hardscape Solutions, 1031 West North Territorial Road, Ann Arbor, for site plan approval to operate a landscape supply company. Parcel numbers B-02-19-300-12, zoned AR Agricultural District. Nothing further, Mr. Lippins?
Nope.
In that case, I'll make a motion to approve with conditions the request of Hardscape Solutions on the site plan approval. Do I get support? Support by Ms. Chick. Questions, comments on the motion? We'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Zarzaki?
Mr. Roman,
Yes.
Ms. Chick,
Yes.
Zarzaki, yes. Ms. Fonte,
Yes.
4 approved.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rogowski. Okay. No items listed for new business tonight. I make a motion, we approve the minutes from February 5th, 2020 regular meeting and dispense with reading. Supported by Ms. Chick. Any questions, comments, or corrections on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Final call to the public. Anyone wishing to address the Planning Commission tonight may do so now for a period of 3 minutes. Yes, ma'am. Just please step up and state your name and address for the record. Hopefully the microphone will work.
Is this gentleman's or?
I don't know.
The audio interface isn't working, so just put it, this is your record, this is yours.
This is my record, I'm sorry. It doesn't say I'm your record.
No, the audio's not working.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No, ma'am.
Up or down? Up, no, down. Can you hear me now?
Mr. Nelson, can you possibly check that? It's turned on. It's turned on.
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Okay,
Just talk loud.
You can go ahead.
I'll dub it in later.
okay. Faith Wheeler, 371 Grove Street, Whitmore Lake, actually Horseshoe, but Whitmore Lake mainly. And,
I'm sorry, ma'am, what was your name again?
Faith Wheeler.
Thank you.
You want to use one of these?
That's okay.
I'll try and speak toward you. I'm here because on item 6, the approval of the sale proportions of the North Village to the Livonia Builders, okay? And this action tonight by you, is that to say that the sale is then said and done? Because my understanding is it has to be a signature between you and him and the exchange of money before it's done. I am one of those that is promoting people to come to the meeting next Wednesday with questions and answers, and to at least have it stopped until that time so we can make, between us, some kind of an agreement as to what's going to be going on, and if it's going to take a little more time after that to put the action on hold until we can come to some understanding between us. That's what I just wanted to know.
Thank you. We can't do a question and answer, but through our comments, we can, someone can possibly answer your question. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll go to comments from the commissioners. We'll start with Ms. Chick to answer the question possibly.
For Ms. Wheeler, that's correct. There's been nothing signed with Livonia Builders, so there's, oh, I'm sorry, there's nothing signed with Livonia Builders at all. There's no contract. In fact, in my comments in the beginning from the board meeting, it said that we directed the manager and the attorney to draft something that to bring back to the board to consider, but we have nothing in writing.
So what significance does this action have? Tonight?
It was just correspondence.
What is the significance of that?
In what? I'm sorry.
It was simply, if you're talking about item 7, the correspondence,
No, 6, on the second page.
I don't think you have the proper agenda.
Oh, that might have been the last agenda from our last meeting. Yeah.
From the last, it says counter copy. Maybe you have more agenda than
Yeah, maybe we do. Yep, this is the Board of Trustees from February 11th. Yep,
It's not a current agenda.
no,
Okay.
not ours.
I have no comment. Mr. Zarzaki? Ms. Infante?
I do have a comment, and I'm very glad to hear from the public a little concern about what's going on, because I feel a bit, this is simply my opinion, but I was shocked when I saw the plan for the park, and I hope that there's time for the Board of Trustees to receive comments, because the Planning Commission can't really do anything about it, but hearing from the public is absolutely imperative, so thank you.
Mr. Iaquinto?
I apologize for being late, sir. Thank you.
No problem. So I'd like to announce the next regular meeting, March 4th, 2020, and make a motion to adjourn. Supported by Ms. Chick. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.